Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again, and here on another very sunny day in Wanchai. There you see it. Nice little park here behind the old post office. And I have another awesome phone to share with you today that's going to be released on January 10th globally. This is none other than the Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus. This is the global edition, guys. I know this one's been out in China for a while, but this global version is quite a bit different than the previous version we've seen before. And we'll talk about all those differences in a moment. But you can see here, I have the vegan leather lavender color version, and I really do love this color. Now, of course, you've seen this design before, but let's talk a little bit about it. At 8.85 millimeters, 205 grams for the vegan leather version. There you see it, the very distinct camera module, I guess porthole size camera module here of this phone. But I just love the back. I really do think this is the most premium looking Redmi Note Series phone. Definitely, even though the edge is still plastic, I do love the look. And if you didn't realize it, you would consider this almost metallic. But I'm loving the look of this Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus in vegan leather. Now talking about the display of 6.67 inch 1.5K AMOLED. And what's special about this display, it is using Gorilla Glass Victus 2 as the primary glass here for this phone. It is a super bright display. And what I do also appreciate, they brought that kind of slightly curved edge. I normally don't like curved edges on phones, but for some reason on this Redmi Note series, they've always been very flat edged. So to see the curved edge on this is very nice. And it is buttery smooth. I mean, overall, the display, no complaints about that. Tiny bezels, top and bottom. And I think that is one thing you will definitely enjoy about this phone. Now, talking about performance, we have the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 with HyperOS on board. Now, this is where I think, the phone shows its mid-range qualities, because you see this score here, 753,000. Definitely a I'd say even lower mid-range chipset. I would have liked to see a little bit more power on this phone because, I just recently reviewed that Poco X7 Pro. I know that's performance related. The price of these, I think, is going to be very similar globally. So if you're getting this for longer term use, I think the performance is going to become a little bit of an issue over time. Now, don't get me wrong, the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 still does a very good job. Overall, apps open very easily, and the whole system is generally very smooth. I'm just concerned for more longer term use if this is going to be something that will be a challenge. But there you see it, at the very least, you do have 12 gigs of RAM on this version, and you do have HyperOS, as I mentioned, on board as well. 512 gigs of storage as well for this phone. You also have a 5,110 milliampere battery capacity, but what's different about this global version, we do get 120 watt hypercharge, and that's going to make a big difference, I think, in terms of charging this from 0 to 100% in under 40 minutes. I also like that they've included dual Dolby Atmos speakers on this phone. That's another premium feature. Now, one thing I did notice in terms of audio, no more headphone jack. Now, I have heard complaints about that. No more headphone jack. Guys, it's 2025. If you're not using Bluetooth, some Bluetooth or USB-C wired solution headset at this point, I don't know what to tell you. I've been using AirPods and other Bluetooth headphones for, I think, almost 5 or 6 years at this point. So I really don't think the lack of headphone jack is even a concern at this point. Wrapping up finally, though, with the cameras, and this is the big one. The big difference here with this global version is the inclusion of this amazing 200 megapixel, let's take a look at it there, 200 megapixel AI camera with OIS. And it is definitely a really solid shooter, guys. Let's take a few shots here. The classic Frankie Tech camera shots on the street. Let's zoom in there on that sign and take a look at the results. There we go. So you see there a lot of detail from 4x, and this can definitely go even further up to 30x. Let's take a photo of this dude. Sorry, dude. There we go. And let's see how the 200 megapixel camera does. Pretty good detail. Not great, but pretty good for a quick snap. And I do think if you look at some of my other photos I've taken from my office, yeah, things get a little bit muddy at the 30x, but for the other lenses, from the other zoom ranges, it is still solid. You also get an 8 megapixel ultra wide on this. You do, though, get these little macro, the 2 megapixel macro camera. Honestly, I would just remove that at this point. But I guess for a little bit of symmetry here with the camera module, it makes sense to include that. So all in all, what do I think of this Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus? Obviously, this one's been out for a while, and I think if you're a fan of the Redmi Note series, there are some really nice features to this phone. It almost makes you feel like you're using a flagship in terms of the display quality, in terms of the build quality, and the 4 camera modules, even though it's really only 3 cameras, and you do get decent performance. But I think the performance is where this phone maybe falls a little bit behind the competition. When you're seeing the X200 Pro with these really incredible Dimensity chipsets, even the Poco X7 Pro with its Dimensity 8400, maybe they should have slapped a Dimensity series chipset into this phone. I think that would make it at least a bit more of a value proposition and last longer. But all in all, guys, I've always been a fan since the Redmi Note 6, even the Redmi Note 7. The Redmi Note series is near and dear to my heart. It's always great to review another Redmi Note series phone here on Frankie Tech. But hit me up in the comments. What are your thoughts on this Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus? Did you pick up the other version? Are you planning to pick up the global version, this new enhanced global version? I'd love to hear about it. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon for future updates. Let's turn the camera around for a quick greeting now. Hope you guys are doing well. And shout out to Redmi for sending this one out. A beautiful phone, no doubt. And I definitely think, guys, that, we've hit peak smartphone for a while now, but there are a few little changes that can be made every once in a while, especially with this gorgeous lavender vegan leather bag that I do appreciate. I really do. So thanks once again to Xiaomi, and hope to see you guys in another video very soon. That's it for this one, and this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Have a good one. And yes, I know, guys, I definitely need a haircut very soon. Have a good one.